At 6:05 in the morning, Tehran was still quiet. Then the aircraft arrived. The target was not an oil field, not a missile launcher. It was the man at the center of the Iranian state. Within hours, the United States had launched hundreds of strikes across Iran. Command centers were destroyed, radar sites were hit, aircraft and naval forces were crippled. Militarily, it looked like a decisive victory. America had removed the head, and that was supposed to end the war, but it didn't. Because countries are not machines. Remove a machine's central component, and it stops. Remove a leader from a country, and the people left behind can reorganize. Iran's command structure began to decentralize. Local forces could continue operating without waiting for a single voice from Tehran. America had destroyed the head, but the body had learned how to move without it. And then came the more uncomfortable problem. What if the people most likely to oppose the Iranian regime were living in the same cities being attacked? War can create a strange psychological effect. People who distrust their own government can still defend it. When they believe their country is under attack, the enemy outside can suddenly become more frightening than the enemy inside, and that is where military victory begins separating from political victory. America could destroy buildings, it could destroy aircraft, it could destroy command centers, but it could not destroy an idea simply by bombing it. So if Iran would not collapse, where would it strike back? The answer was not Washington, it was the Gulf. A missile does not need to hit America to hurt America. It only needs to hit something America depends on. Around the Gulf sits Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. They are wealthy, modern, and deeply connected to the global economy, but they are also part of the infrastructure through which American power operates in the region. American forces use bases there. Aircraft use their airspace. Oil moves through their waters. And global capital flows through their financial systems. So Iran didn't necessarily need to reach the American mainland. It could attack the network surrounding it. That is why Dubai matters. Dubai looks almost invulnerable. Glass towers, luxury hotels, one of the world's busiest airports. A city built around movement. But that is also its weakness. Modern cities depend on confidence. Confidence that planes will arrive, ships will dock, insurance will remain available, workers will stay, investors will keep investing. Take away that confidence, and a city can begin to retreat without being conquered. An airport can remain standing while airlines cancel flights. A hotel can remain intact while tourists disappear. A port can remain open while insurers refuse to cover the ships entering it. The buildings survive, the system doesn't. And that reveals something important about modern warfare. You don't always have to destroy a city. Sometimes you only have to make people afraid to use it. But the Gulf has an even greater vulnerability, a narrow passage of water between Iran and Oman, the Strait of Hormuz. On a map, it looks almost insignificant. Strategically, it is anything but. A huge portion of the world's energy supply moves through this narrow corridor, and that creates an extraordinary kind of power. You don't need to control the entire ocean, you only need to control the doorway, and Iran sits beside that doorway. If the strait closes, the immediate problem isn't simply missing oil, it is uncertainty. Which ships will risk crossing? Who will insure them? How long will the closure last? And how much will markets panic before anyone knows the answer? That uncertainty alone can push prices higher because markets don't trade only in physical resources, they trade in expectations, and the consequences don't stop with oil. The Gulf also depends on imports of food, medicine, and industrial supplies. The same doorway that allows energy to leave also allows necessities to enter. Close the door in one direction, and eventually the other direction becomes difficult too. That is the paradox. The weapon does not need to destroy the supply. It only needs to interrupt the route, and suddenly Even the world's most powerful militaries are confronting something they cannot simply bomb away. Geography. Iran can destroy, America can destroy, but neither side can destroy the Strait of Hormuz. And protecting it creates another problem. Every tanker becomes a potential target. Every escort requires resources. Every escalation creates another risk. Eventually, the question stops being who can destroy more. It becomes who can endure longer. And that brings us to one of the strangest weapons in the war, the drone. A relatively cheap unmanned aircraft can force a vastly more expensive military to respond with sophisticated interceptors, radar systems, aircraft, and personnel. That creates an asymmetry. The attacker spends little, the defender spends much more. And this is one of the oldest strategies of weaker powers. You don't try to become stronger than the giant, you make the giant spend its strength. A drone can be launched from a temporary position. Then the launcher moves. The battlefield becomes a search problem. Satellites search, aircraft patrol, radar stays active, crews remain on alert, interceptors must be manufactured, and every day the war continues, the entire machine consumes more resources. This is where military power begins to look different. A fighter jet looks powerful, a carrier looks powerful, a missile battery looks powerful, but wars are not sustained by appearances. They are sustained by factories, fuel, maintenance, supply chains, money, and political patience. The United States has enormous advantages in all of these areas, but none are infinite. That is the hidden vulnerability behind overwhelming military superiority. The strongest military on Earth can still face an uncomfortable question. Is destroying this target worth what it costs to destroy it? If the enemy can replace cheap weapons faster than you can replace expensive ones, the mathematics of the war begin to change. It may not produce an immediate military defeat. Something more subtle happens: strategic exhaustion. And exhaustion changes political decisions. Leaders begin questioning the price. Markets react to every escalation. Allies begin wondering how long protection will last. And the enemy begins calculating how much pressure it can survive. Eventually, the war becomes a contest of endurance. And that is very different from the war that began with a single strike in Tehran. At the beginning, America appeared to possess the simplest advantage imaginable. It could destroy more, destroy faster, destroy farther away, but destruction was never the only variable. The real question was, what happened afterward? Could Iran keep fighting? Could the Gulf remain stable? Could energy keep moving? Could the global economy absorb the shock? And most importantly, could either side actually define victory? Because wars are easy to start when victory means destroying an enemy. They become much harder when the enemy refuses to disappear. The first strike can be precise, the second can be devastating. But eventually every war reaches the same uncomfortable question: what happens after the victory? And if there is no answer, perhaps the greatest danger was never losing the war. Perhaps it was winning the wrong one.
The world is built on ideas, systems, and empires. Which one should we uncover next? If there's another empire, billionaire, company, or historical mystery you'd like us to explore, leave your suggestion in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden systems that shaped history, consider subscribing to Empire Theory.